What's going on, everybody? It's Great Scots here with third episode of Medieval Dynasty. I posted the first two videos right after I got the game, and just wanted to put some footage out there for those who were maybe on the fence about it. Just I know lots of other people were doing it, but I realized that a lot of the mundane stuff is not by any means the most interesting stuff. So the way I kind of resolved to go about uh, making videos for the game, and I think it's definitely worth doing some videos for. It's new, it's interesting, it's in early access, so it's going to develop. But it still seems fairly well put together, even being in early access. But the way forward is I would take a chunk of time, play the game, and then kind of do a what I learned and maybe show you a little bit around. So, kind of the basics. If you're going to get this game, you're going to start in the spring, and what do you do? Because I had no idea. I think the two videos that I put out previously, they were that ended up being a kind of busted campaign, if I remember. I think I ended up going. You see this little guy up here. It's, forget his name, Sobermere or something like that, at a hunting cabin. I went up there, see what was up there, and I got killed by a wolf because I still hadn't figured out how to hunt anything. It was a disaster, so I started all over again. Still really didn't know what I was doing, but quite a bit trial and error, and I've figured it out a bit. So one of the early things you got to figure out once you're able to is where you're going to plop down your homestead. Now you can't do it right next to these established villages. You got to be some ways out, but you don't have to be that far out. You should be able to see kind of right smack dab in the center. I'm at my little homestead there, but I chose this place. I'll show you some of the other things that are there, but it's fairly central relative to the rest of the map. You can't really go. Well, you can go a ways south. I've been to Hornica. I have not been to Jezerica or Lesnica, but I've been everywhere else. But it's fairly central to where, at least so far, I've been doing most of my stuff, and actually most of it's been around Denica, Gastovia, and Barowo. Um, but that was a reason. It's near water. I've seen other people have put their stuff right on the water. That might be fine too. I can see a lot of advantages to that. But I wanted to be a little bit back from the water. I'll go ahead and show you what it actually looks like. So this is we're at the end of the winter, and so this is we're about to move to spring. And actually, I got to get some sleep soon for reasons I'll talk about in the game. I have to, but that's the water right there. That's how far away we are. It's not that far. This was the original house. You can see that we have woods right here, so lumber is going to be really important. Uh, I don't know if I agree with what I'm about to say, but I thought early on, I think that this might be a berry patch, and I believe there was another one over here. Uh, this is a woodshed. I believe this is the woodshed that I built later on. Uh, being near berries helped because they're heavy, which stinks. Uh, they don't provide much nutrition, but they do provide both nutrition and water if you need it. I try to keep up some of the wooded areas. I got my rabbit trap going on over here. I think it's the first trap probably everyone can build. All right, so it's and if you check that regularly, you'll be all right. But it was also relatively flat, and as I clear our trees more so I was thinking for farmland. It's got that. Down by the water, there's also, you can kind of just see it just below the water line, kind of where the bullseye thing here is. Those are reeds for straw and all the rest. You're going to need that. And I've been attacked by many wild boar here. And there's also rabbits, and I don't know if there have been foxes and deer. There have been deer in this other field. There's plenty of rocks, sticks around, all the stuff you really need to get up and building. So for those reasons, I couldn't really find a better place, and that's why I did this. I mentioned that I got to kind of talk fast, because if you look at the very top in that icy blue counter, it's almost all the way to the right. If you don't sleep once a season, it'll say you're poisoned. Nothing's bad has happened from it so far, but it's something that I want to try to just sleep at the end of a season, just to avoid that. But each season, so it does all 4 seasons, you get 3 days for each season, and then it rotates to the next one. And the challenge is, it says if you take up like a quest or something, you should finish it in the same season. So even though I got a quest that I could have done in a faraway village, I said not to do it because it was the last day of winter. That's something you want to keep in mind. Yeah, so priorities, how you would get going once you find your place to build. I would recommend, I think the rabbit trap is the easiest, the kind of base trap you can get up. Check it every time you come back to the homestead. It captures stuff pretty quickly. It'll get you some meat. I think it gets you some leather as well. On the meat issue, make sure as often as you can that you cook the meat. See, this is regular meat. You only get 2 nutrition, and you can see that it's 0.4. Well, that's for 2 pieces, but I think the ratio is the same for roasted meat, and you can see that roasted meat has 3 times the nutrition, right? 6.0 to 2.0. And so once you get the campfire going, you do it. It takes about 3 seconds per piece. It's not too bad, but I would definitely recommend that. I have to see how farming goes, right? That would be another great source of regular food. I miss the spring, trying to figure out basic stuff with the game. So I have the fields ready to go. I have a few seeds. I don't think it's going to be enough, but I don't have money to buy more. So year 2 may be another year of hunting and gathering and building up stock. But when farming gets going. But honestly, hunting and gathering does work. And as soon as you get your domicile up and you're able to build, storage is so important. So I have 3 storage bins. The stuff in the right here is what I have in here. A lot of it's not necessarily, important stuff. Stick and rock is not valuable, but it's important to build other things with. And so I would definitely recommend getting those up. So I have one in here. I have one at the woodshed I showed you before, and I have one in here, which is the resource building. When it comes to building the house, one thing that they didn't really tell you that you kind of just got to figure out is that you need a wooden hammer, and you got to have it out. So I'll put it in slot 4. I don't think anything's going to happen now. And once you do that, these tiles will show up. There are different ways to build your house. So this is kind of the kind of cheapest, this wattle wall. The wooden wall, I believe, is the best. And I really didn't understand that when I was building until I was about halfway. Actually, I think this until I was on the roof, and I was like, oh, I want wood shingles because they're the best insulation. And then I wondered, I wonder what the walls were. And I realized too late that I think half of it had been this wattle wall. The other half had been this pretty good wooden wall. But I think the roof is all the best you can do. So make sure you have that wooden hammer out so you can construct it. Same thing goes with the resource building, the woodshed. You're going to need lumber, you're going to need sticks and all the rest. So make sure that you do that. Yeah, the reason why you want food storage is that it, so far for this year, has stopped the erosion of food. You can see the condition. I think the berries up here, they were 150 when I put 100% and 50% when I put them in, and they have not changed in almost 2 going on 3 full seasons. And if they're in your pocket, they deteriorate much faster. So that's why you want resources, in addition to you can't hold it all, and you might need this stuff to build later. That's why storage bins, I think, are a really good idea to get up. Anything else that's worth mentioning? Weapons. So far, I've pretty much gotten by the whole year with this wooden spoon, spear. No, spoon. Which I don't have a wooden spoon. I just recently got a bow, which I stupidly purchased. It's just easier to buy the technology once you're able to upgrade it. Technology, right, there are 4 different kinds, and then as you progress, it gives you new things you can buy. So this, I know how to build stone arrows. I don't have the feathers for it, so that's why I got to also do bird traps, but that's 80, and I got taxes due in the spring. But the bow for 100 would definitely be a good investment. It doesn't seem to wear out all that quickly. I've probably gotten 20 shots, and it's down maybe 15%. But don't waste the money. I haven't pushed hard for money. I've just been trying to survive. On that note, skills. So skills aren't the same thing as tech, right? Tech is all this stuff. but the skills, which there are more of. Let's see if we can get some sense. Extraction. Yeah, I've chopped down a lot of trees. I don't think I've mined anything. I've tried to find a pickaxe, and I can't find anybody that's selling one, and I don't have the ability to make one. So my extraction abilities were limited here in year 1. Hunting, I think most of it was trapping, and so maybe that's why it didn't matter. There was some animal skinning, but most of it was just throwing that wooden spear, and it's so much better to throw the spear than it is to try to stab something. You got to be pretty close from about here to that log I'm looking at. That's a pretty good distance to hit something with a spear. You got to aim high. It drops pretty rapidly. But you really don't need to invest a lot in weapons. I haven't had any problems with people. It's mostly been boar, one bear at the end, and a bunch of wolves. If you do get hit, so something that is abundant is this broadleaf plantain. It's health is what it is, and it's very cheap to. It doesn't. I mean, it's free, so it doesn't weigh a lot, and you find it by hitting your Alt key. So you see, it drains your stamina quickly, so don't stay on it forever. And I think most things are all dead in the winter, so it's not really showing up. But that's something you want to collect. A lot of that for usually when animals hit you and stuff like that. If you happen to get poisoned, I don't think I've gotten poisoned by not sleeping, but then I just wake up and everything's fine. But yeah, this stuff's free and it's out there as well. So if you're picking up sticks, rocks, broadleaf plantain, mushrooms in the fall, and St. John's wort is there. I think spring, summer, and fall. Go ahead and get some of it, but I wouldn't. It doesn't seem like I need a lot. The health seems far more important than the St. John's wort, but it's very light, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, I haven't focused on building up money. The kind of easy way I think to do it is if you get some sticks or sticks and rocks. The stone axe will sell for 80 currency. The stone skinning knife will only sell for 20 or 40. And so for a few more sticks, I don't like expending rock. I'd say build stone axes and sell them to people who will take them. Wooden spear, it's not really worth it for the log. The log probably has other uses and they're heavy to carry. But if you are looking to farm money, that's probably the easiest way, and it's the least resource intensive way. As you might have seen in the storage bins, I hold a lot of rocks because I saw in some of the building construction that rock was going to be really important, and they're really heavy. They weigh 1 kilogram, and you can see down here I only have 35 to spare, and I think the lowest I've seen this is around 20 just with my other stuff. So it's something else to think about. The berries that I had mentioned previously, don't pick them in the spring. They're unripe, they'll give you little nutrition, and they may poison you. Wait till summer, but they will fall off in the fall, before the fall starts. So if you're going to get some berries, for whatever reason, summer is the time you want to pick them. So I'm going to try to spend the spring of this coming year on farming if I can get a little of that done, and maybe the summer on getting some berries, but I have a ton left over. So don't worry about it. Winter is not a big deal. I thought I was going to freeze to death. I did some side quest, and as a result, I got, let's see, I got fur boots and a fur hood, and I've been fine the whole winter. You can see down here, there's this little temperature bar, and you basically want to stay in the green, and it's basically been 15 to 17 degrees Celsius, which is what it is most seasons. So that's really all you needed. I was worried that the house I made with the kind of shoddy construction, in half of it was going to be pretty poor. I'll show you inside the house because it's really not great, but it doesn't matter. Right, so this is the inside. You got a little place to cook over here. More storage here, so I guess that's actually a 4th storage bin. This is somewhere to sleep, which I need to do very soon. This settlement is a one-man show, and again for year 1, I don't know what else you would really expect to do. This side quest has kind of gone as far as it can go. I think I need to upgrade the chapter and the successful flirting. Haven't really had a chance to. I've been talking with people, but it's mostly just to get stuff sold. And there is this diplomacy component, which I'm kind of surprised it's that good. I think they need to develop this a bit more because it really gets quite repetitive and boring, and it feels like a bit of a sideshow. At best, a sideshow. And so, hopefully, in development, they make this. They add some complexity or just some variation in the dialogue in the so-called diplomacy. Uh, but basically, you talk to people, you say things that they like, you get them high enough, and then ideally you should be able to flirt with them. I guess that's what they want me to do. I don't know. I haven't tried it. But once I do, it's going to move up the Dynasty reputation to plus 50. And the reason why no one has moved to this settlement yet, I don't know. Yeah, so I can see my Dynasty reputation is 31. The reason why no one will move here is they actually do tell you that they won't move here until the Dynasty goes up to 50. And that's fine. I don't really need or want anybody to show up. Once there is stuff going on, you can check the condition of it. So this is what I have built: workshop, woodshed, resource storage, and the simple small house. That it is. But yeah, I might try to. So these are the fields. I haven't done anything with them. They're just there. I guess 16 by 16 is what I think they say the largest field is. Good to know. Don't have any animals. They're really expensive. I mean, if we go over to the inventory, what do I have? 262 currency, gold, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure it's not gold pieces, but whatever. I think some of the hogs are like 1,500. And I've had more money than this. I spent it getting seeds and buying that bow when I didn't need it, and unlocking some of the technologies over here. I haven't gotten a shovel yet. I should. But yeah, the ability to make arrows, but I need the feathers. We'll be able to do something with flour eventually. Don't choose the bolts because they say we need a crossbow, and I haven't seen anything about this. This seems big. I mean, this level 2 on crafting, it says sewing, but it's under crafting. I mean, this allows you to make quite a bit. I can't say that I necessarily need, I don't think. But, I mean, I've survived this far without it. Tavern's not going to get me anything. The smithy, though, this is where I can get the pickaxe. So, alright, that's fine. It is what it is. Yeah, as I was saying, and I am about to wrap this up now, because this was kind of just the basics of what you need to know to get you through year 1. And I forgot. So it couldn't have been that important. Those were the main points that I was thinking about. I kind of wish I had known some of the stuff about farming a little bit earlier, but honestly, you're running around just trying to survive. Oh, I remember the skills, the upgrading the skills. I believe it's this one, survival, yeah, so this is at level 5. You can see the level here, and just compared to the other ones, right, it's very high. I kind of liked, I mean, this was useful for getting some things, but the level 2 survivalist now, I consume less food and water, so I don't have to constantly be going back to get more food and more water. I mean, it is still pretty regular, but that was getting to be a drag. One of the solutions is to buy, which I think is too expensive, so I'm going to wait till I can make one of the, I think they're water skins, and that will hold, it says 4 charges of water, which should make going to the rivers and the lakes and all the other stuff way less cumbersome, and just an intrusion on the game. Honestly, a lot of the game is running from one place to another, back to another place. Again, I got lucky. I did not know what I was doing when I built here, but I was really fortunate that this is kind of on the way between these 3 settlements, which have been the bulk of what I have. Down here, I think it was in Hornica, was where I had an optional mission at the end of the winter that I just didn't pick up because I didn't want to fail. Apparently it hurts your relations. But yeah, this year, year 2, I'm definitely looking forward to trying to see if I can figure out farming. If I can get that done, I would be happy. Apparently the tax bill is due in the spring, so I have 262. It tells me basically my stuff is worth 140, and so I got to go into town, the Castilian or whoever in Gustovo. I got to pay him the taxes. My guess is that's going to go up when this place gets up and running and there's more value. Apparently when there's produce in the fields, it's worth more. When you pick food out of the fields, it's worth less. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I might try to get some weapons, but I have a bow and 5 stone arrows, and so far that's been fine. Alwyn's story here is kind of paused on. I just showed him how to shoot a bow and arrow, and he's talking about now having an archery contest, so that might load also in the spring. We'll see how that goes. There are a couple of side quests. I don't know if it's going to show me or show you the completed ones. Yeah, so it does have the completed ones. You can see what you might get. Delivering meat, and by the way, they mean just regular meat. Don't cook it, because that's, even though it's better, that's not what they want. 16 sticks, that's very easy. I mean, it's low reward. This one's actually pretty good. Yeah, giving him 31 coin at the time was actually quite a bit, but I was like, I don't really care about the money. And then this night hunt I just finished as the season was coming to an end, and I think that was the bear I ran into in the woods. Ended up being the last kill there. I don't challenges. So maybe I haven't done a challenge. I was getting the quests mixed up with the challenges. Nothing's failed so far, which is good. And this is worth reading. Of course, I didn't do it until almost right before I did this video. I knew it was here, but I just didn't care to read it. I was like, I'll figure it out. It's probably worth 5 minutes to look through at the beginning, although some of it needs some context of actually playing the game before it makes sense. But that's something I kind of wish I'd done a little bit better. So that's it. If you take up the game, I recommend it. I mean, it's certainly, for me, I think it's decent. It's a pretty low price. It's going to develop, and it's ready to play. I have not found it to be terribly buggy. I haven't really found it to be buggy at all. It's kind of like if you did Red Dead Redemption 2 or Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and you kind of just spent most of your time surviving, right? Chopping wood or whatever it is, the chores and all the rest. That's kind of what it's like. It is building towards something. They want you to get married and they want you to have an heir so the dynasty can continue. I get that. I'm not in a rush to get all that, the family stuff going on. We're still relatively young. I have all the resources to bring all these up to 100. That's no problem. So I could recommend it. I mean, if you've played those games and you've done those kind of things, you know what it is. But it may not be for everyone. So I'm going to play a little bit more and see how things go in year 2. And when that's done, I'll give you an update. If you want some time reference, it took me about 10 hours to get through year 1. That's 10 hours in real time. And so that should give you some sense as to how long this game is. It'll go quicker if you sleep more. I basically do not sleep until I have to, which is right about now. But that allows me to get the most done in the time that I have. So if you want to check out the game, yeah, sure, go ahead, check it out. If not, I hope to see you back here in year 2.